Good evening. A recent survey shows that a majority of Filipinos support an impeachment trial against Vice President Sara Duterte. According to Okta Research's 2026 Tugon ng Masa Survey, 69% of respondents believe Duterte should face an impeachment trial to address allegations against her. Meanwhile, 28% say they do not support the trial, while 3% are undecided. Based on the report, support for an impeachment trial is highest in the Visayas and the National Capital Region. Balanced Luzon follows, while the Vice President's bailiwick Mindanao records the lowest level of support at 61%. Mindanao also records the highest level of opposition at 38%. Support is strongest among Filipinos aged 18 to 24, followed by those aged 35 to 44. Lower levels of support are observed among respondents aged 45 to 54, the lowest among all age groups. Respondents aged 75 and above show relatively high favor at 71%. The House Committee on Justice resumed on April 14 its proceedings on the impeachment complaints against Duterte. The Justice Panel began examining evidence and hearing testimonies for the first time. Allegations against Duterte include claims she misused hundreds of millions of pesos in secret funds from the Office of the Vice President and the Department of Education when she was its secretary. Bicol Saro Party List Representative Terry Ridon says Vice President Sara Duterte's tirades against her alleged former aide Ramil Madriaga are best said before the House Committee on Justice. Madriaga testified before the Justice Panel on April 14 during the hearing on the impeachment complaints against Duterte. He alleged that Duterte needed help to fix her law school grades. In a statement on Wednesday, April 15, Ridon says Duterte has the right to face the issues. He says it would be better if Duterte attended the proceedings at the House so that she can oppose the issues raised by Madriaga. Earlier Wednesday, Duterte issued a statement calling out Madriaga. According to the Vice President, allegations of needing help to pass law school is claim that she takes issue with. Duterte said that she completed her legal studies on her own terms. She emphasized that she did not seek special academic accommodations and that she prioritized a balanced student life over academic distinction. When Madriaga testified before the committee, he presented a supplemental affidavit which provided more details into his relationship with the Dutertes. Madriaga also disputed reports that the 125 million peso confidential fund under the Office of the Vice President in 2022 were spent in 11 days. According to Madriaga, the total amount of secret funds was liquidated in less than a day. Malacanang maintains there is no need for President Bongbong Marcos to undergo a hair follicle test to dispel rumors about his alleged drug use. In a briefing on Wednesday, April 15, Palace Press Officer Claire Castro cites a Supreme Court decision stating that a president cannot be compelled to release medical records based on unsupported claims. This was in response to a petition filed by the United People's Initiative. The group asked the High Court to compel Marcos to undergo a hair follicle drug test and put an end to issues regarding his purported use of illegal drugs. At the briefing, Castro notes that the Supreme Court previously dismissed a petition involving the disclosure of former President Rodrigo Duterte's state of health and medical records. Citing a news report, she points out that the petitioner's allegation that the president was ill was unsubstantiated and merely based on conjecture.
Ang Supreme Court po ay nagbigay na rin po ng desisyon patungkol po dito na hindi po kinakailangan at kailangan sapilitang magbigay ang isang Pangulo ng kanyang medical records. So, kung puro chismis lang po ang pagbabasihan ninyo at guni-guni lamang at wala kayong anumang basihan, sa tingin po natin ang Supreme Court ay hindi naman po babaliktarin ang ganitong klaseng jurisprudence.
Led by retired Philippine Air Force General Romeo Poquis, the United People's Initiative filed on April 10 an urgent petition for mandamus and or preliminary mandatory injunction. This was to compel Malacanang to declare the alleged serious illness afflicting Marcos. In their petition, the group cited a constitutional provision stating that the public should be informed of the president's state of health in case of serious illness. Eduardo Año is resigning as National Security Advisor due to health reasons. In a press briefing on Wednesday, April 15, Palace Press Officer Claire Castro confirms that President Bongbong Marcos accepted the resignation of Año. Año submitted his courtesy resignation in May 2025. This was in compliance with Marcos's order to all cabinet secretaries as part of his administration's recalibration.
The President has accepted the resignation of National Security Advisor Eduardo Año. Secretary Año has decided to retire from public service after decades of continuous service in government and the military. We thank Secretary Año for his dedicated and distinguished service to the Filipino people.
In a statement, Año says that he is stepping down permanently in order to prioritize his health and well-being. According to Castro, former Armed Forces of the Philippines Chief of Staff Eduardo Oban Jr. will take over Año's position. Castro says the president is confident that Oban will provide steady and capable leadership in advancing the country's national security priorities. For his part, Año also says an orderly transition is underway, expressing confidence in his successor, Oban. Authorities find no visible flood control structure at the supposed project site in Pandi, Bulacan, despite being declared almost finished in just 21 days. The 92.8 million peso project is the subject of graft and malversation cases filed against former Senator Bong Revilla and his 6 co-accused. The Sandigan Bayan 3rd Division held an ocular inspection on Wednesday, April 15, at the exact coordinates provided by the Department of Public Works and Highways in Barangay Bunsuran. 3rd Division Chairman Carl Miranda led the inspection of the project. Also in attendance were the defense counsels of Revilla and his co-accused, along with the prosecutors. The prosecutor notes that there were only visible parts of steel sheet piles, but there were no revetment and no containment wall, referring to salient features of a flood control structure. According to the prosecutor, the ocular inspection will help a lot in their case since it shows that there is no flood control project. Attorney Ivan Bernard Samson testified on April 6 that the notice to proceed of the project was issued on April 8, 2025. Samson then said the project was already declared 95.17% done on April 21. He said this kind of project is typically done in a span of 2 to 3 months. According to the court, the ocular inspection is still part of the bail petition hearing in the malversation case involving Revilla and his co-accused. Revilla already posted a 90,000 peso bail for his graft case, but he remains in jail since his malversation case is non-bailable. Revilla's camp has repeatedly denied the former senator's involvement in the case. And these are the stories you need to know today. I'm Neil Mercado. Follow INQUIRER.net on Facebook, X, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Reddit. For more stories, visit INQUIRER.net. Good evening.